7 machines, 12 dudes, 6 days, 1,200 miles. It kind of started with an idea. Could we ride from Minnesota, a small town in Minnesota, across to Wisconsin, through Wisconsin, and then to the upper peninsula of Michigan, all the way to Copper Harbor? We knew there would be some obstacles. We knew there would be some challenges. And even on the first day, we didn't know if we were going to make it. This is our adventure of how a group of guys came together and said, you know what? Let's do this. This was our destination, Lake Superior. And yeah, we have Lake Superior in Minnesota, but we wanted to go see it all the way over in Copper Harbor. When Rod, our ride leader, kind of came up with this plan, I didn't really know what to expect when he said, I think we can ride to Michigan. And just to clarify, when we say ride to Michigan, it means just that. No trailers. We literally took off from his place. We hit the trails. We used a little bit of forest roads, as little pavement as we could, and we did it. And spoiler alert, we all made it. We had some hiccups along the way, but here is where it started. Being that we're all in different machines, side-by-sides mostly, with one traditional four-wheeler or ATV, we wanted to be able to communicate. And I was really fortunate. I have a great relationship with Cardo, and everybody else who's tried them has bought them. And then for the guys that didn't, luckily enough of us had extra headsets. So the first thing we did was gather at Rod's house, get everybody together, and sync the group. This was by far the biggest test for the Cardos. I've never used them in this large of a group. You can pair up to 15, but we had 12 people, and everybody had a headset with the exception of Dan. He was the guy riding the four-wheeler, and he had a helmet kit. Once we got everybody synced, we were good to go, and we were ready to hit the trails.
Yeah, I got everybody.
Nice.
We started out in a little town called Emily, Minnesota. And the trail system up here is pretty mild. Generally goes through the woods, a little bit of mud, maybe some ruts, nothing too, technical or challenging. So, along with my co-driver Trevor and my machine and the rest of us, the convoy hit the trails. The goal of day one, put on as many miles as possible and get to Wisconsin.
What I feel, I can't say.
can do if I give my love out to everyone like you. But if it's all love that you need, then I'll try my best to make everything succeed. Tell me what is my life without you, love? Tell me who am I without you? By my side. Tell me what is my life without you, love? Tell me who am I without you? By my side.
It wouldn't take long for our first obstacle to arise. Dan's machine, a Sportsman 1000, started to overheat. And we started checking the normal stuff. Was the radiator clogged with mud? Was there any blockages? But the thing is, it was overheating. Thankfully, I brought along this little Ryobi pressure washer. It runs off drill batteries, and I thought, even when I was packing, this might come in handy just for this situation. Now, he wasn't the only one that was overheating. A couple of the other CF Motos started to overheat a little bit as well, so we kind of passed around the pressure washer. We tried to keep going, but it wasn't more than a few miles, and we had to stop again. Thankfully, we were able to find a small creek as a water source. Every few miles, we had to stop and keep cleaning out the radiator. Once we got it as clean as we could, we were finally able to make some miles, and then we came across another little obstacle. Thankfully, this was a pretty small task, just a tree that was partially blocking the trail. We kind of felt it could be a safety issue in case somebody comes around the trail and didn't see it in time, so we decided to take the extra minute, grab the little Ryobi baby chainsaw, and clean up the trail.
Just like that.
But as luck would have it, it wouldn't be too long before I'd have a stoppage of my own. I was driving down the Sioux Line Trail, and sure enough, I felt my tire a little low, and we had a flat. Now, this is normally no big deal. I carry repair stuff, but this particular hole was big. It took 3 plugs to fill this hole. And I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Sioux Line, but in Minnesota, the Sioux Line is an old rail grade, and it is a long, boring trail. But it's kind of like the interstate. You use it really just to connect trail system to trail system and really be able to cover a lot of miles in a short amount of time. But the downside is it is covered with rail spikes and metal debris and all sorts of other stuff. Little did we know this would not be our last time dealing with flat tires on the Sioux Line. I'm kind of leading ahead to what might be coming on our way back. But man, that was a pain. I'm not going to lie. That was just a pain.
It's never an adventure unless there's a little bit of an obstacle. So we have a flat. One machine is overheating again. Maybe 2 or 3 machines are overheating. So one other guy in our group just ran the little pressure washer back to them while we take care of this. So that's why it's always important to be sufficient and be able to pack things to repair tires or reinflate stuff, or that little pressure washers kind of come in clutch. So it's just kind of some of the lessons learned from the trail. Could be worse.
Could be worse. Worst case scenario, you've got a spare.
Well, we were out on the trail. We caught up to the rest of the group. The group got their machines cleaned up with the little pressure washer. The four-wheeler of the group is still having some overheating issues, so they are actually back up there. They found a little stream that they were able to put the hose in, so they're hosing it out. Our next town is about 8 miles down the trail this way, so we're hoping they have a pressure washer or maybe something we can kind of have a little spot where we can actually tear down the front a little bit more and get that radiator cleaned out and kind of investigate to see what else might be going on. The cool thing is, in our group we have 2 mechanics, so they'll do a great job and trying to do the best they can, and otherwise we'll see what happens and see if the adventure has to change or if we keep moving forward. So it's always a good time.
We got gas and we hit the trail. Our goal, cross over to Wisconsin.
We have made it across our first state line. We have left Minnesota. Now we're into Wisconsin. On goes the journey.
Go Badgers! Go Badgers!
That bastard, you tricked me. Oh, there. We did it. Once we got into Wisconsin, we knew we had to cover some ground. And on our route, we did have a little bit of pavement planned along with some gravel roads and their old rail grade trail as well. And for the most part, it was pretty uneventful, except for, of course, we had to have one more flat tire. Once we got that changed, we continue on, and we made it to our house for the night. And that led us into the next morning where we would all grab some breakfast, get some gas, and be ready for day 2 of our journey. Necessary evil, right?
All part of the plan.
Wisconsin had some pretty cool trails. They went through some great wooded areas. They were winding. I thought it was actually a pretty scenic section of our trip. And I even decided to let Trevor drive. I mean, he is the co-driver after all, and sometimes it's nice just to kind of take in a little scenery. And plus, I'll be honest, if I was just stuck in the passenger seat all trip, I'd probably get bored too. So he got to, check out some pretty cool trails. And things got a little bit more remote as we continued into Wisconsin. This is where we came across probably one of our biggest obstacles of the trip. We looked at the map to see if there was going to be a detour, and there really wasn't. We knew we were just going to have to bust out the saw, do some labor, and clear the trail. We definitely put the little ego to work, but I gotta say, it actually worked really well. For a little 12-inch top handle chainsaw, this is probably the biggest workout it's given, and it cut through all the trees just fine. Thankfully, we had a big group because we were all able to work together to clear the trail and then head out. Once we got packed up, we hit the trails, and I have to say, our next destination was a little bit of a detour, but man, it was so worth it. This was probably one of my favorite break stops on the trip. As much as we wanted to stay there, we knew we had a lot of miles ahead of us. Our goal tonight was to hit the Michigan state line and get to our next house. As the sun started to set and the golden hour approached, we actually had a really enjoyable, smooth ride. No major issues, we were able to cover a lot of ground, and we hit the Michigan state line.
Am for Michigan!
And as soon as we found a decent-sized town in Michigan, I knew that we had to do something about the cab heat. Seriously, inside was hot. It wasn't just hot, but Trevor pointed out that under his seat, a lot of the radiator line heat was coming through the cubby hole that I cut out, so I knew I wanted to get some sort of like block or insulation. So as soon as we found a town, I had a mission on my mind.
Is that going to be enough, though?
You think this is heat resistant?
No. No, I think it floats.
Yeah. You want to get thingamajobbers to keep the doors open?
We could just use it with, we could literally do it with bungee cords.
Yeah. Do you have bungee cords real quick? And these are a little more stout than the bungee cord.
They are.
That worked out awesome. I think we're good. I think we can hold the doors open with these, and then this will fill that gap. So, yeah, I think this is going to work out. We're going to go through here, and here, like so. And then the air is going to keep it open, for sure. Let's go test it. How is it? Well, we don't have enough speed yet.
As we hit the trails for the last segment of the night, I'm not going to lie, this hillbilly air conditioning worked out really slick. The airflow was much improved, made it much more comfortable in the cab. Definitely worth it. 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Tomorrow's our big day, and we have a hard deadline because we need a police escort to go over this bridge in Houghton or Houghton or Houghton or Houghton. The locals, you can leave a comment below and let me know how I screwed that up. But we have to get our police escort, so we're going to hit the road a little earlier, hit the trail, and I think it's going to be good. We have a good group of dudes. We're all having fun. We really have no complaints. I don't know what else to say. We're going to go charge batteries, take showers, get cleaned up, and we're going to be back at it tomorrow.
The small town we were staying at was super ATV friendly. They even had a little ATV wash station in their park. How cool is that? Everybody made sure to clean off their windshields, spray out their radiators, and we knew we had to hit the road. After covering a little bit of ground on the trails, we stopped in another small town, gassed up, got some coffee, and we knew we had a lot of miles ahead of us. Our destination was the Portage Lift Bridge in Houghton, Michigan. On the other side, Hancock, and we knew we had to be there by 7 p.m. to meet our police escort. We had a lot of miles to cover.
I don't know if you guys can see this, but the rain literally just started. We stopped at camp here, and here comes the rain. So it's a good time to stop and grab some rain gear because it is coming down. So it's gonna get some dust repellent, I guess, for us. But man, so far the day's off to a good start. Only one flat tire, and otherwise we're just kind of cruising down these forest roads, making up some miles, and now it's time to put the rain gear on.
Thankfully, the weather cleared up pretty quick, and we continued to ride. We had a combination of forest roads, some gravel, some trails, and we made it all the way to lunch. And unfortunately, at lunch, one of the guys left his light bar on, coming out to a dead battery. Thankfully, I had a jump pack with. We were able to get him started and hit the trails again. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be long before we had to stop yet again and fix another trailside flat. This time, it was a sidewall flat. We knew that we had limited time, so the quicker we could get things fixed and back on the trail, the better.
All right, where's it at?
Right here.
Ended up working out.
Costco compressor to the rescue again. Probably one of the better purchases I made. Just as far as a nice compact little compressor to keep. And usually it lives underneath. I have a little cubby underneath the front passenger seat, but because we've been using it so much, I decided to move it here so it's just a little easier to get to.
Quicker access.
When I wake up, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who wakes up next to you. When I go out, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. If I get drunk, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who gets drunk next to you. And if I haver, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's havering to you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. When I'm working, yes, I know I'm gonna be the man who's working hard for you. And when the money comes in for the work I do, I'll pass almost every penny on to you. When I come home, oh, I know I'm gonna be the man who comes back home to you. And if I broke, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who's growing over you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more
We are taking a little pit stop, and we are almost to Houghton. I had a local tell me that's how it's pronounced. So we are making good time. We have to be there. We are planning on being there by 7:15 tonight for our escort across the bridge, which I'm really looking forward to. I think that's going to be pretty cool. And we're making good time. We were a little nervous. We had to leave early. This is a high mile day. We were a little nervous that we might not make it, but we are optimistic. Trevor, my co-driver, and I made a little dollar wager. He said that we wouldn't make it. I said that we would. I might be $1 richer, so stay tuned. Don't stop watching now. You got to see if I win the bet or not. But we'll see what happens. But so far the roads are great. Trails are great. We have a variety of stuff. We've come across some sand. We've come across some tight stuff in the woods, the forest roads, and a little bit of pavement through some beautiful country to kind of make our connections. Things are looking good.
And as the afternoon progressed, we kept going and going, and we finally arrived where we could see the bridge in the horizon. We knew we were going to make it. We even arrived early enough to stop at the Downtowner and have dinner and overlook the great view that Houghton had to offer. After a great meal, we got in line, waited for our police escort, and we got to cross the Portage Lift Bridge.
Back home with you. I'm gonna be the man who's coming home with you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more to be the man who walks 1,000 miles to fall down at your door.
After we crossed the bridge, we hit the trail, and we found this little rest spot near a lake, and we thought it'd be a good time to take a break. And this is the point where we almost had our first self-induced breakdown. I don't know what Dan was thinking. They joke in the group that sometimes he has a Danurism, and he decided to ride his four-wheeler down the boat launch and then get stuck. So not only did we have to winch him out, but then when we got him out, we thought we might have some issues with the belt as there was a little bit of slippage. Thankfully, we were able to get everything taken care of and hit the road. But it just kind of makes you realize that sometimes, you know, if it seems like a bad idea, you probably shouldn't do it. Oh, Dan. Dan. We had finally arrived in Copper Harbor, Michigan. This was a big milestone for us. Copper Harbor is a really cool town. It was very ATV friendly. We were able to get gas, get a bite to eat, but most importantly, check out Lake Superior. The views were amazing, but this wasn't our final destination of the night. We wanted to head to Keweenaw Point, and hopefully I'm pronouncing that right, because we wanted to do a little night riding and also go out on a light sanctuary, meaning that there's no street lights, there's no light pollution. We wanted to get to pretty much the furthest point we could on our machines and see the shore of Lake Superior.
over 600 miles, all 7 machines, all 12 people all made it. We had some challenges along the way. We definitely had some obstacles, but to reach the destination is it's just a really cool feeling. I'm not gonna lie, after day 1, I thought maybe we wouldn't. We had some issues, we had some flats, we had some challenges, no doubt. And I just didn't know. Like, you just have that feeling where it's like, I don't know if we're gonna make it or not. And to be here, to roll up and to see the lake for the first time in my side-by-side that I drove here from Minnesota, it's just kind of a surreal feeling. It really is. So we still have some adventure ahead of us. We have another 600 miles to go. We all have to get back home, but we're just going to take the moment to celebrate this and kind of enjoy the scenery. Thanks for sticking around so far.
The night ride may have actually been the funnest part of the trip, and in hindsight, if I were to go back, I would trailer out there and just spend as much time riding the trails on Copper Island as I could. I can't wait to go back and see what they looked like during the day, because at night they were challenging. Some were technical, some had some ruts. Obviously night riding just adds a whole nother element to the ride, but we all agreed that that was probably the funnest part for us. Going through some of these trails made me really grateful for the lights that I had. It's way easier to ride, obviously, if you can see, kind of goes without saying, and some of the guys did complain that my lights were a little bright, but hey, like, can they really be too bright, right? As we were rolling onto the beach, we literally could ride our machines right to the shore, and this was probably the most remote area I have ever been on my side-by-side. The pictures don't do it justice. If I would have known the skyscape would have been this cool, I would have brought in a real camera, but the stars, the experience just couldn't be replicated. I don't know how to describe it other than just absolutely mesmerizing. I can't wait to go back just for this. It was truly worth it. Now, when we were getting ready to leave, we realized that it had gotten a lot darker, and we were literally having to maneuver on kind of a tight area, and one wrong move could have made for a really, really bad situation. This is where the Cardos really came in handy. Jay was going to spot for us and really kind of call out to make sure everybody was safe as we were turning around on the beach. It worked out much, much better to have a spotter, and if we would have had a machine go over the edge, man, I don't know how difficult that would have been to recover. So by far better safe than sorry.
Back up, keep coming towards me, keep coming, back up a little bit more, turn hard left, up towards Dan, follow the light. All right, next one.
One by one, every machine was spotted and able to turn around and get off of the beach. And then we hit our night ride back home. We knew it was late. We had an early morning. We had to cover a lot of miles again. So we wanted to hit the road and get a little bit of sleep before we had to head out. They always say the worst things happen either at night or in the cold. And that's what happened to us on the way back to the house. It was dark. It was cold. And all of a sudden, Rod gets over the Cardos saying, "Hey, I've got to pull over. Something's wrong with my machine."
It sounded like a front driveline popped out on one of the Razors. I'm not super familiar with what the drivetrain is on that, but they are trying a trail repair. We're going to see if they can get it lined back up, and I guess Rod has a spare bolt which might secure it, so we may be able to make a trail repair and get it back to the house, but it is super late night, technically early morning. We got to be up in a few hours to stay on our agenda to get our escort back across the bridge to finish our adventure. So we'll see what happens. A little bit of an obstacle.
John and Jay were able to repair the machine on the side of the trail in the middle of the night with minimal tools, which was pretty cool. After finally getting back to the cabin, we all got about 2 or 3 hours worth of sleep. We had to pack and then hit the trail so we could make our bridge crossing again in the morning.
We're operating on less than 3 hours of sleep. And everybody seems normal, which isn't good. But it's not that bad either.
We were able to meet the police escort on time, cross the bridge back over to Houghton, and hit the trails. We didn't want to take the exact same route, even though the plan was to pretty much take the same route back. But when we were on our way back, we saw this really cool offshoot trail that went on an old rail bridge. And we couldn't pass that up. We had to go check it out.
It is now well into the afternoon, and we're well over 100 miles today already, and we've been making really good time. We've gone through a good amount of gravel forest roads, which this is kind of a repeat on our way out. Now we're kind of making our way back, so a lot of it's familiar to us, and we were able to make a couple of stops that we didn't make on the way. That was kind of cool. One stop in particular that I made a waypoint on when we drove by it was this overlook along this kind of creek that had a couple of little falls and some logs, and I gotta say, I am glad we stopped at this spot. What a little gem. Great spot to take a break. This would be an awesome lunch spot. I don't know if camping would be allowed, but just a spot that just looks like it's right out of a Field and Stream magazine. And ironically, just as we were leaving, a older gentleman showed up with a fly fishing rod, so maybe that's a good spot. Maybe it's just a pretty spot, who knows, but just a great little Michigan gem that has just made this adventure, really cool. Just not only to hit the trails and put on a bunch of miles, but also stop and see some things. And I gotta encourage you guys, when you're out riding, take time to stop and look around. Whether it's a small town to explore, whether it's a landmark, whether it's just a stop that looks cool. So far, every stop we've made where we've taken just a few minutes to kind of stop and smell the roses, if you will, has been a journey worth it.
As we continued the rest of the day, we came across some downed trees, had to bust out the saw, and of course the weather decided to turn. While it was already cooler than our previous days, now the weather had decided to add some rain. Yeah, it's great for keeping the dust down, but when you're cold and you're wet, it's not the most enjoyable. Everybody threw on their rain gear. I am really glad I brought boots. We continued on the trails back to our house. I think once we got there, everybody was relieved to take a hot shower, just relax a little bit around the fire, and reminisce about some of the cool memories that we are making so far on this trip.
I feel like we've missed one of the most important things to bring on the trip, though.
What?
Coffee creamer. I feel like we can't drink, and by we, I mean me, can't drink coffee without... And I like it very light. Just a drop, just like that. Just, I like it very light, almost black, but,
But white.
yeah.
I like my coffee black, but white.
I like it to be like milk. Sweet French vanilla milk. Whatever cow makes French vanilla, I want that cow.
Could I get one of them French vanilla cows?
I want a French vanilla cow.
Or else would they shake? Jeez. Cheers to your health.
Shaken, not stirred.
As we made our way back to home, it seemed like the theme would be flat tires. Oh my gosh. I don't know if there was some trail karma working against us, but man, flat tire after flat tire. And then we had a bigger issue. Rod had a sidewall gash on his, and he didn't have a spare. Thankfully, we both had glue tread kits. Now, this is not a product I've used before. We both bought it, and I'll be honest, I was a little skeptical. But man, we ended up using this twice on the trip, and I could not believe how well it worked. We followed the instructions, cleaned everything up, prepped the site, glued a patch on, waited the appropriate time for it to cure, and it held air. And this was a good-sized gash in the sidewall. But I am a believer, a true believer in this product, If you're not going to carry a spare, carry a glue tread kit. And even if you are going to carry a spare, I would still carry a glue tread kit. This is a piece of equipment that is always in my machine now.
What do you think, Rocky? I think it's been one of the coolest trips ever. That's what I think. It's been pretty great.
I think Rocky summed it up best. I agree. Probably one of the coolest trips ever. If you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Everything about this channel is encouraging you to use your gear and tread on your own adventure. Hopefully you can get outside, enjoy nature, spend some time with people you like, and see some new things. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. Here's a couple of other videos that you might like about the journey, the prep, and the machine, and we got more to come.